What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Fan Awakens. I'm here with my good friend ParadeReigner over there. How you doing, bro?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good myself. Excited to talk episode 4 of Andor.
Oh yeah.
Um, and this is the juiciest episode yet. This is we're getting 12 episodes in the season. Episode 4, it feels like a good episode of TV. It didn't feel like, those previous three, how they're all sort of pieced out pieces of one story. It felt this almost felt like something completely different.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It felt this is actually what I wanted from the first three. So that now that we're here, I'm like, okay, now I'm in. So I'm really high on this episode
Yeah, it's
for sure.
it's kind of funny because I know we talked, last week about what you were looking for the show and how I saw the show, and the funny thing is, even though I loved those first three episodes, I was watching this for a second time this morning, and I was
Mhm.
thinking like they probably honestly could have almost started from here. Like I
Yeah.
mean, of course they'd have to do something before just jumping into this episode, but they probably could. There probably didn't have to be so much work. Although I'm sure it's all going to be for a reason. I still love those first three episodes,
Right.
and I'm sure we're gonna go back, you know, um, to his mom and to Bix and all of that. I'm sure that's gonna come back up. But yeah,
I
this
think so
episode
too.
definitely felt like we're kind of rearing to go. We're kind of kicking off into this espionage spy thriller kind of thing.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I totally agree. I think I didn't even think about that where this could have been the start, but I agree with you that we're probably going to go back to Ferrex. We're going to go back to Bix, and we're going to see possibly a difference of how it's ran imperially than just by Primor. So they might be setting that up possibly. But I love it. I think I don't, even though the first three, I hate using the word slow burn because that doesn't actually bother me, but the setup to what episode four brings, I thought episode four was what we're going to get in the first three, but now that we're here, I'm totally good, totally
Dude,
fine.
I didn't even think about that, honestly. And I know it's a big part of the episode, but I didn't actually think about what the difference would be if we go back, what it's going to
Right.
be like ran by, the Empire as opposed to the Pre-War.
Yeah.
That's an interesting thought.
I mean, I feel like we have to, because Bix seems like a big character for Andor. So if unless she gets off planet and meets us somewhere down the line, but you still have Mirva,
Yep.
and you still have um, uh, Brasso or Basso
Brasso,
or whatever still
Brasso.
Brasso, and then B2. I
Yeah,
think is
those
so.
are
There's
definitely untied endings. That
yeah. So I'm sure either Andor's going to come back or we're going to just flashback, but good transition to what's going on there. So I don't think we're done with Ferrex. There's too much setup, and the set, since it's already like done,
yeah,
I'm pretty
it's
sure they're going to shoot
true.
more. They're just like, all right, cut it, but just burn it down.
Get
We're
out
done
of there.
here.
Put it in the vault.
I want to
Um,
ask you though, something we didn't do for the last three.
uh
What would you like rank it, like 1 to 10 with
Wait,
halves, if you thought about that?
like the episode itself?
I guess you can do like an average of the three,
Okay.
and then this episode,
Yeah.
episode four.
So, mm, so I actually didn't rank them, and that's, I think the reason being is because you're right. I did just watch it as one thing, one piece.
Yeah,
I would definitely say that the third episode was the best to me out of the first
right.
three. And it's hard
You
for
want me
me
to
to.
give you mine? Do you want me to
Yes,
give you
because
mine?
it's hard. I'm trying to separate like when one ended and two began and three ended.
Oh, okay. Well, I would just put them all together
Okay.
just to make it easier. Like an
Yeah.
average for me personally, I was like 7.5
On the
on
first three.
on the first three.
Okay.
Yeah, collectively, and I think three elevated the other two. So just averaging out 7.5 for me.
Okay.
And then this episode, I was really happy with this episode. I think I would skew between 8.5. It's not
Yeah.
perfect, but it's more of what I want. And so I'm considering this like the beginning of it. I probably am higher on it than most, but I just don't want to overscale it for the first four.
No, I
So,
get you, dude.
so like I'll say 8 out of 10 for me.
I'm gonna that actually makes it quite a bit easier also, so thank you
Yeah.
for figuring that out for me. But I would say I was really high on the first three, so
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
honestly would probably give it, and you don't like recency bias is a thing, I suppose, but
Sure.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and I'm going to give it 8.5, almost
Okay.
9. maybe
Yeah, yeah,
even a
yeah.
9. Actually, you know what?
Okay.
I'm gonna give it a 9.
9. Okay.
Because
All right.
I was just so blown away because of like my thoughts on Obi-Wan and Boba Fett both, where I liked Boba Fett
Okay.
enough, although I think I like the stuff of the Mandalorian more than Boba himself. But like just going from, they felt like I don't know, the budgets didn't seem that far off from each other in the way they were
Right.
shot, and I wasn't really blown away or captivated by the look of those shows,
Sure, sure.
and the writing and things like that. I thought, and so when this happened, I watched those 3 episodes, I was just like, this
Yeah,
is
yeah.
everything I wanted. This is like Christmas came early,
Sure, sure, sure.
Like Santa Andor Claus is here to save my year. Um,
I
and
love
so
it.
I was like going, I was really really high on it, and then this last
Yeah.
episode. I do think that it's the best of the four so far,
Mhm.
but I think that I'm probably mm, I feel like it still would be a 9 for me.
9. Okay.
Like
Yeah.
I'm just feel like I'm still riding that wave. It does feel
Right.
very different though, and it does feel
Yeah.
like it's definitely a separate story. Same characters and they're still the same people.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I would give probably, I'm at a 9
9 still.
9 average
Okay.
for the whole show.
I'd probably, I mean, even after our conversation too, I'd probably be like an 8 for the other 3 because I was actually excited to watch the 4th one, and
Yeah.
then now I'm like, I can't wait for next Wednesday. So I
And
might even be
yeah.
more closer to a 9. But I don't wanna, I'm still on the high of everything that happened. Let's jump into the episode. Um, I don't know if you have any notes, but I think it
Yeah.
starts with Luthen and Cassian on the ship going
Yeah.
back and forth. Um, he's kind of like recovering from his wounds or patching up his wounds, which was kind of a thing that happened throughout this entire episode. He's like still
Constantly.
bleeding.
Constantly. Don't be
Still
bleeding
bleeding.
on my ship.
But Luthen drops a couple of Easter egg bombs, and this was like the Easter egg episode.
Oh,
It was
for
it was
sure.
crazy. It was crazy. But he mentions, is it Mimban?
Yeah, Mimban.
Mimban?
Yep.
He was like, he was like, oh, I served on Minbat and we were fighting ourselves, kind of thing, trying to figure out who Luthen is, what military sect he's with. He mentions separatists, the partisans. Um, he mentions the alliance already, so he's like trying to figure him out. And Luthen's like, doesn't matter, man. Like you're gonna work for me. Like
You're gonna
it's a
work for
bigger
me.
cause. It's a
And
bigger
it
cause.
was great though. It further shows off Luthen's like savvy when he's like, for 2 years we were fighting each other
Yeah,
only to find, he's like, you were on the ground for 6 months. The other
yeah.
and
As it
he's
took, he's
oh
like,
my,
don't try to play
he's
me.
pulling
It,
receipts on you, man.
Yeah, when that was something you were mentioning, you're like, there's more history to Andor than
Yeah,
we know, but Luthen has the book on him.
he
So it's
does.
kind of cool, like hearing that. And I'm wondering if we're gonna even flash back to then. You know what I'm saying?
Heck,
Like,
and you know it's crazy because Andor, there's definitely a lot of similarities between him and Han Solo in these, like,
mhm,
just in the aesthetic and sort of
yeah,
the
right,
way they try and weasel out of things and the lying and stuff like that.
right, right, right.
Um, but and I could be mistaken here, but was Han on Mimban in
Yeah,
Solo?
yeah. In Solo, it was where they were doing like the mud trooper thing. It
Yeah,
was like all dark.
which is some of my
And
favorite stuff in that movie.
yeah, same, same. So it's possible that Cassian and Andor might have been there at the same time. Possibly
Yeah,
even Luthen might have been there. So I like how they set that up because I know Disney doesn't really like talking about Solo a Star Wars
I
story
was
very
gonna
much.
say over under 12% Han Solo shows up in a flashback.
Oh man, 12%.
12%, 12%,
I'm
because
gonna
I
go.
don't think it's a high chance,
I'm
but
gonna go under.
yeah,
I don't want to see. I don't want to see Alden
me either.
Ehrenreich. Nothing against the guy. I just don't. We just don't need that in this. In this one, that's
No,
one of the cameos I don't want
that's a whole
need in
can of
this
worms that they don't need to open again.
show. um, but yeah, I thought that scene was really cool. Especially was that where? Oh no, we didn't get Luthen's change yet. That's later in
That
the
was,
episode.
what range? Stellan Skarsgård, he's killing it.
Dude, yeah, and it was just like I was like, what's going on in this moment? Him showing like all the trinkets, and putting
Yep.
on the disguise, I guess a republic. I don't even know if he's a politician, but it just seems like an
Yeah,
art dealer.
he's definitely like, yeah. I mean, he's got some dough, man. He's got some
He definitely
artifacts for
has
sure.
some money, which is crazy. And then I was like, I don't know if we want to jump into that scene, but just going back to him changing into this disguise where he like kind
Yeah.
of poses different. It's funny because as a cosplayer, like we think about how we want to look in the picture, so it's very like putting on this character. So I felt that in that scene, but then even him just doing it for a second, just going through like the little practice of it, and then just kind of going back into Luthen, his I would
It's
say his
actually
real
really
personality.
nice. Yeah, his
Yeah,
real
it was a really cool
personality. Yeah,
portrayal.
that is actually a good point. It's nice. Almost feels like maybe being seen as a cosplayer. He's changing his. He's putting on this new identity. He's in front of the mirror. He's changing. More flamboyant.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
he's sort of transforming in front of our eyes.
yeah.
Also, very small detail, but he has his clothes. He's taking them off the hanger, that cloak or whatever. And I'm like, man, like everything. It's like imagine being like the prop maker and like we need clothes hangers, but we gotta make them
Even think
Star
about the
Wars.
yeah, I didn't even look at I have to go back to look at the hanger. I think I was taken back most by the wig. So he puts the wig on
Yeah.
and then it would just look perfect. And I was like, is that really a wig or did he have long hair for this scene and the
Oh, that's
sequencing and then they cut it down
a good
for the
question.
show? But
You're
it
right.
was if it was a wig, it was a really nice wig. Seamless.
You're
Seamless
right.
for sure.
I at once he had the long hair on. I didn't even think about it. I didn't even think
Yeah.
about yeah.
Yeah, it looked really good. I'm trying to think if there was any other dial. Oh, the kyber crystal handoff.
Yes. Kyber crystal handoff tells him how much it's worth, and that's a really big,
It was
scene.
huge.
That's a huge kyber crystal. That thing can probably blow up Mimban on itself. But
I
like
forgot about that. Yeah, I
when
could have used
when
it for Death Star.
he says this thing means more to me than you can know. Why?
Mm.
I want to know why.
I want to know why. Give me the young Luthen,
Yeah,
the young
you-
Sheldon Luthen prequel.
and
Um,
yeah,
I was gonna say because they drop a couple of other Star Wars lore. It's the Quadi Signet. Um,
yeah,
it reminds me of the kyber crystal that Jyn Erso wore, right? So kind of going back to that. I think her
very
mom
cool.
had it and handed it off to Jyn. But then they mentioned the Rocketan Empire, which if you just look on Wikipedia, which I did, it's a Knights of the Old Republic um, ancient race that created hyperspace travel. So
Okay.
they tried to take over the universe, I think, but then I think they
Yeah,
used the dark side and fell. And I saw a clip on Knights of the Republic and I remember it. And if anyone does, I think you go into some like weird artifact and kind of like a dream sequence and get stuck
yeah.
inside where it's like a puzzle thing. And I was like, oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that scene. I want those games to come back.
I
Shout out to
know.
I want to relive that moment. I mean, it was almost 20 years ago when
Yeah,
that
I
game
mean
came
it's
out.
so
So
it's so that game has come out in every platform imaginable now, but I need
yeah,
like can we just even if you just carbon copy it and just update it,
yeah.
I'm
Just love the graphics. I don't wish it was that easy because I know I have it on my iPad. I think it was on the Switch.
yeah,
So I'm like, we just want it
I have
just
it
a
on
little
my
higher res.
phone. Like
Yeah, you could just play it again. But I want to see what a newer iteration of it would be like. But it was really cool dropping those little Easter eggs.
and it was a surprise given like all the Tony Gilroy talking about how it was an active decision to not include fan service and things like that in the show, and then episode 4 comes
Yeah,
on and is like, hey, here's a season's
here
worth
you go.
in like 45 minutes.
Shut up, nerds. Here's what you want. I'm wondering how that goes down in the writing, like, because it has to be a group of writers, right? So then
Yeah.
they're like, "Oh, can we just throw this line in?" And he's probably like, "Yeah, that's fine." Like,
Yeah,
"Well, yeah,
I
whatever."
imagine so. It's hard to know like from person to person. Obviously, you hear about like in the prequels, there's that it's a meme, but there's that on Geonosis, not Geonosis, on Utapau, there's like a clone trooper punching a droid, and
Oh, I never noticed.
and
It's in the
so
background or what?
yeah, so it's deep background, and
Yeah.
I don't remember who, and I wish I knew the names offhand, but I would have looked it up if I would have known I was going to talk about this. But some of
Yeah.
the ILM people were saying, they had sort of liberty to be creative with certain things in the background as long as it wasn't
Mhm.
distracting and it wasn't taking away. So I'm
Sure.
curious, like, how much, were all these artifacts like necessarily cleared by like Gilroy or who's
Mm,
directing, or is it
mm.
sort of like, as long as the like who decides all this? It's
It probably
interesting.
wasn't go right. He probably was just like, "Yeah, that's fine. Let's make fill this." They probably just went to the prop side and just brought
That's
stuff out.
cool. That's cool. It fits
That's
the
cool.
aesthetic. That's a rock.
That's fine. Should we talk about that, or should we? Do you want to talk about
Yeah,
the
heck yeah.
antiquities part? We'll just jump right
We
into
can
it.
jump right into that. Yeah, we're already there.
Okay. So when that scene came up, I was like trying to
Dude,
hey,
like,
wait, what can I see?
wait a minute. You got your
And I
phone out recording, like,
see, just to give some context to the listeners, I watched it at 5 a.m. and I thought it was only going to be 30 minutes and I had to get ready for work. So I wasn't able because I was thinking about pausing and looking up words and I was like, no,
yeah.
I'm not going to have time for this. But I did catch a couple of Instagrams and YouTube videos after the fact and I wrote down some of the ones that people found. And I don't know if you have any that you saw off the bat or if you heard
So,
anything.
so I haven't actually watched it because I've seen like on YouTube there's like 63 Easter eggs. I'm like, god damn. But but no, I've seen some Instagram posts of things, the
Okay.
Star Killer stuff and things like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But I haven't seen a ton.
Okay, I got a list. I wrote down a list. Shout out to new rock stars. I follow them religiously, and shout out to
Shout out New Rock Stars.
yeah, Eric Voss. Met him in person. Great guy.
Heck yeah.
Um, so a couple of things in the I call it Luthen's Den of Antiquities. Off.
It's great.
I was like that would have actually been kind of cool
Dude.
if it was Doc
I
Ondar's
was gonna
like
say that sounds like it's perfect for Galaxy's Edge.
yeah. So, but it was very similar. I was looking at to be perfectly honest, I was staring at the armor and I was like, it looks so familiar, but I couldn't place it until they said it's actually the Sith Stalker armor, which is Starkiller's armor if you go dark side.
You know, it's funny
And my
when
buddy actually
oh, go
cosplayed
ahead.
that. So,
Ooh,
oh, go ahead.
heck yeah. Does
Yeah,
he have a
yeah.
post of it?
He might. I
If
have
he
to
does,
double
I'll
check
try and link it in the description. But
for sure.
when we
For
were
sure.
watching it, we saw the armor in passing, we're watching as, and we're all excited. There's so much to look at on screen. My brother's like, is
Yeah.
that Enfys Nest armor? And I'm like, I think it is.
It threw
Like,
me off with like the giant like headpiece behind it or whatever,
yeah.
the pokey things. And I was like, it kind of looks like I thought it was like a Knights of Ren
Yeah,
thing.
could have been.
But I was like, it's before them though. So I was like, that doesn't make any sense. And then like by that time we're just moved on with the scene. The other things that were back there that people mentioned is the Keldor breathing apparatus, the one that
Oh
Plo Koon wears.
yeah, yeah, I did see
That
that
was in the
later.
front near the
Which,
door.
oh, break my heart. Damn.
I don't think it's his though, because I think all the species wear theirs.
Okay, because that's what I told my brother. I'm like, let's just say he had an extra, or let's just say it was. I don't know. We're still holding out hope.
Definitely a prop grabbed from ILM just in the back.
Yeah.
Then the one he shows off, the Utapau monk cudgel, the Utapaus being the Revenge of the Sith species that Obi-Wan goes to. The big head, the Grand Inquisitor, right?
Yeah, there
So
you go.
his people, the Powans. Then they had a Mando armor. There was one sitting.
I didn't even see that. Ooh, nice.
Yeah, like the chest piece.
Yeah.
And possibly the shoulders. Okay, so now I was like, Beskar's pretty expensive.
Yeah.
So I'm like, are you just gonna have it? Someone's not gonna come in and buy it? Like, I don't know. So I'm wondering if some of them are fakes,
Yeah, that could be, especially, I mean, he has all these things. They all look very expensive, obviously. But,
Yes.
it comes down to they have a discussion about money. I got mouths to feed, And so,
Yeah.
how many mouths are there? What are we
So
talking
I'm
here?
across the rebellion, man. You might be funding a lot of different things.
Yeah.
So the other thing that was in back there in the same shot of the Mando armor is the Twi'lek Kalikori, the one that's like shaped like a T. They show one of those in Rebels, the one that Hera's family had. So the
Gotcha.
Twi'leks like kind of a family heirloom in Twi'lek culture. So he has one of those. Then there was the stone tablets. This was posted on Instagram of I think Ezra. They're called the Keystones. Ezra found with the Loth wolves.
Yeah.
It's like the hand symbol things. Very surprising he has that because I was like, that's kind of like a world between worlds thing. So like,
It feels
that's
like
chilling
maybe
in here.
once you get to see stuff like that, you're like, maybe it's just like, man, that's a cool prop. It'll look good. It'll look good in there, right?
Yeah. Then unpowered Gungan shields were also in there. So like kind of the T large
Yep.
shield. Let's see. And then the Sith and Jedi holocrons.
Oh, I did see those. Yeah.
So there was holocrons up there, and I'm like, that's kind of sus with
He's
the Emperor being here, and you just have holocrons just chilling up on the shelf. Okay.
Almost it's like the Star Wars version of the Collector from like Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians,
He's just got all this stuff that just
Yeah, yeah. Because I get having stuff like a Gungan shield isn't too like out of the
Yeah.
realm of like things you would collect, but like having holocrons is kind of interesting
I
to
mean,
me.
you remember like I mean, you look at in the Clone Wars, those episodes where like the holocron was stolen. Oh my gosh, it was the end of the world. Like they're like, we got to get
Yeah,
those things. I mean, they're a big deal.
yeah.
Um,
And I can't remember if in the lore if they just store like a little bit of data or if it's like a lot of data. Because even in Rebels,
yeah.
having the holocron that that Ezra took from I'm blanking on his
Was it
name,
Kanan?
Kanan,
Yep.
and having like Obi-Wan's info, and I wasn't sure if that's all that was on there, but
I
I
feel
don't know if
like
they're like
who knows.
USBs or if they're
It's like this is a
terabyte hard
60.
drives.
It's hard. I feel like it's one of those things where it fits what they need them to. You know, where it's
Sure, sure,
like
sure.
because you never know, and then we could go into this forever, but like, you know how there's like, we obviously have Sith holocrons, and I mean, then there's like the Wayfinder in Episode 9. I'm like,
Oh,
couldn't they
right, right,
just use
right.
a holocron? That stuff, but yeah, it's interesting that he had Sith and a Jedi
Yeah,
holocron in there. Where did he get those? It's a lot.
yeah.
I would love a book if they don't want to dive into it all. It would, I'm sure they can make a
Oh, like
trilogy of books about how he got all this stuff.
yeah, that'd be really cool. I'd be, I'd definitely be interested. Let's talk about the Imperials. What did you think of Deidre, our new Imperial officer?
So, this is where it gets real, what's the word? I Something is afoot. Who Not all are I don't think everybody's oh, someone dropped something upstairs, but uh I think that someone's obviously a rebel of some kind. I think someone's gonna be in the rebellion here. I
Don't
don't
say that.
I
Don't say
think
that.
without a doubt. I don't know who it is. I don't know if it's I don't feel like it's, Deidre. Is that how we Yeah.
Yeah, Deidre.
Yeah, I don't think it's her. I think that I don't know. I would bet like I bet a lot that
It's
so
not her.
no that
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
uh, no, I
I
don't
don't
think
I
so.
wanna just think that our villains are gonna stay villains. I'm still on that train. I'm still on that train. I mean, even her talking to Major Partagaz, Anton Lesser from Game of Thrones, the main
Yes,
head
is
dude.
the head maester or whatever, right?
Yeah, yeah, Qyburn in Game of Thrones. I love his cadence there because he just reminded me of like manager. You
Yeah,
know, like at your work, like he's like all about the numbers, all about the reports. Let's just stick to that, and that's all I want to know.
it is
Like,
so funny though. Like so much hubris always in Star Wars, but
yeah,
I love that meeting they had, and she speaks verbatim from the handbook. Why are we here? What is security? And
yeah, yeah.
and he's like, that is verbatim and it is wrong.
Yeah.
It feels
He's
like
like, don't read the book to me. I know the book.
exactly, but also like when she brings up, they have this path, whatever, the Waypath unit that's
Yeah,
been stolen,
Star Path unit.
Starpath unit, sorry, Wayfinder, Starpath
Yeah,
unit.
yeah, yeah. Same thing.
And she's like, "Oh, that's in our jurisdiction. We can get all these files." Now, at first, I was like, "Okay, wait. Maybe this other officer who doesn't want to give them files. Maybe he's a rebel. He's not trying. He's trying
That's what,
to."
dude. I thought about that too. I was like, I wonder if this is a cover up for
Me too.
something because they were very like, don't even. He's like, good luck asking about that. You're not gonna get it. And I was like, are they like doing something I would still say Imperial,
Yeah, it could
like the
be.
Imperial goal, but just trying to keep everybody out of the loop of it.
It definitely seems like there. Yeah, there's obviously going to be something going on here. Um, Something's hidden. They're at odds, and I don't think it's just a size measuring contest here. I think they're you know, I mean, it's like he's accusing her of trying to further her career, which definitely could be the case.
I think so,
Um,
which I love, by the
Me
way,
too.
about
Me
all
too.
the metaphors of climbing the ladder, and he's like, "Don't look down," kind of thing. I love that. Like it's real shaky up there,
The
kind of thing. Like,
dialogue
oh,
was great between all of them, and it
awesome.
fit like you said, sort of that professional setting where, you have this person. They all fit a role that, and it's like these people,
Yeah,
um,
very
even though
relatable.
this is Star Wars, and they're not
Yeah,
like it's just like, yeah, I know that guy and I know that boss. Um and just the fact, but when she did present her case for trying to get the case evidence, I thought that she actually did have a pretty good case going for her until
Yeah.
they sort of shut her down and belittle her as far as like there's no tangible evidence because she's like, I even though she said she doesn't have like proof, she's like, I
Right.
have evidence of this systemic repetition,
Right.
same
Right.
kind of, they're stealing these very important units that
Yeah. It's
are,
sus, bro.
yeah, and they're just
Yeah.
like,
Nah, don't
no,
worry about
don't worry about that. We're go back to the numbers.
Well, it's yeah, I think you mentioned the Imperial hubris. I think that's definitely there. I thought he was gonna be like, he goes, I thought he was gonna be like, well, since you figured it out, because when Blevins left, I thought he was gonna be like, well, we're actually working on this, and since you noticed, let's bring you into some kind of other espionage thing.
Yeah.
But no, he was just like, no, I'm just a numbers guy. This is just let's just keep on push those reports. I like that.
Pretty much. He's just like, yeah, keep pushing paper. Just do whatever you do. Just yeah.
Do you think he's gonna have a bigger role, or do you think that's the extent of being another Imperial, Deidre overstepping like Cyril Karn did?
It's hard to say because I'm almost nervous to say yes, mostly because I want him back because he
Yeah,
made a
it's
good
good.
impression on me. Because
Yeah,
every
yeah.
time there's so many great Imperial like officer type
Mhm.
characters that are just they're there and they're gone. I
Yeah.
always think, even Tarkin was there for one movie, for briefly
Sure,
in
sure,
episode
sure.
4 and then he's gone. And of course they've used him more in the animation, which
Right.
is great. But even like I think of, Captain Kennedy from episode 8 in the Dreadnought commander.
Oh,
He's
right,
there
right,
very
right.
briefly, but I
Yeah.
loved him. He was so good
Yeah,
and
yeah,
they
yeah.
just offed him real quick.
Okay, over under 30%, we get some kind of Tarkin appearance.
I would say over.
Over.
I'm gonna say over. I think that they honestly, I was almost expecting him at that table. I was like, oh, we're gonna see
He's too high for
Tarkin.
this table.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. They
This is an
have to mess some stuff up.
ISB. Yeah, this is ISB on the ground. He's up in he's
Yeah, he's
working
working on the
on
Death
Death
Star.
Star stuff. They
Or
dropped Scarif too. Construction and
they did
Scarif.
drop
They didn't
Star.
even know what was going on there, which was
Ooh,
cool.
I didn't even think of this. Will we see Ben Mendelsohn? I don't
Oh, give me some
know.
Krennic, dude.
Dude,
Give
I
it to me.
love Krennic. I love
You
Ben
know,
Mendelsohn.
bring him at the dinner, episode 5, the dinner episode.
Yep, that'd be
I
cool.
wanna see some Krennic there.
Also, since we're going there, oh my gosh, how did Mon Mothma ever get with this dude? I, I'm like, is this a front? What are we doing?
Are we
I
gonna
don't see it.
jump to Perrin? Perrin, the ponytail?
Yeah, parent the ponytail. What is going on here, Mon? Like, what, is this
He just like
arranged?
it was great because not knowing any of the characters they mentioned, which I have a little bit of on them.
Yeah,
She's like, we don't politically align, dude, and he's like, they're fun. And I was like, oh, this guy is Tim level bad.
he is
No,
Tim
no,
level
he's not Tim level,
bad.
he's not Tim level bad.
He could
Tim's not
be.
Tim he could
Like,
be.
he's like, check this out. Check this out, honey. They plan on destroying a whole planet. Like,
Yeah, yeah. Don't worry about it. It'll be fun. No, because he mentions Ars Dangor, which is a book reference. I think a Tarkin book reference, and then they mention Sly Moore,
yeah,
which is the Emperor's one of the Emperor's right left,
yep,
the bald one. But
yep.
what's interesting is she's Force adept. So you're like, you want
I
a person who
know.
could possibly read your mind here while you're doing the
It's a
rebellion stuff, but she was
terrible
pissed.
idea.
Yeah,
Terrible
awful
idea.
idea.
And I hope
Awful
we
idea.
get to see that dinner. But damn,
I think
like,
so.
what a and that scene I'm so looking forward to because I'm sure the tension's gonna
Yes.
be high. I'm
Oh,
sure
it's
we're
gonna
gonna
be
have
so high.
really great back and forths. Um, but it is interesting because you don't know. We don't know because Mon Mothma may have to put on a happy face to, for the betterment of not getting outed. Um,
Yeah.
which again, that in itself could be tense. And obviously they're onto her. They keep replacing her drivers,
Oh,
and they,
dude, yeah, that let's talk about that. He's like like she's a new driver, and then she talked about going to the bank and all the people were different. I'm like, oh,
dude,
like what is happening? So I wonder if did you get a feeling that they already know there's something up with her,
100%.
and they're like, okay, let's dig into
And
her.
it's interesting because one could say, why don't they just get rid of her?
But she's
If
a
they,
senator. You
of
can't.
course, and
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that's the thing though. Like, you were still early on enough, in the Empire's rule and all of that that
yeah, yeah.
it's still things are still forming. The rebellion isn't like people don't know that there is some rebellion out there. This is all new. But I definitely think they definitely know this. She's afoot with. Also, when she said, "I have a friend that may be able to help," or when
Oh,
that's
yeah,
got to
yeah.
be Bale, right? It's got to be.
You know, this is the same question I was gonna ask you. I feel like Bale's already a part of it, so I don't think it's Bale.
You're
I
right.
don't think
It
it's
could.
Bale.
It may not be, but I yeah.
He's the most it makes the most sense, but let's talk about the dinner, right? So I think Bale's gonna be there.
Yep.
I think I wonder if Sly Moore is actually gonna be there because that's gonna be a trip to
That
see
would be a
Chris.
trip. Heck yeah.
I hope Ben Mendelsohn's there. I hope Krennic's there,
Yep.
but I don't know if
Krennic would
that
be
lines up.
huge.
I don't know if that lines up, but he's the type of person who is trying to climb a political ladder.
100%. Yeah, he's
Um,
trying to further that. He's trying to become
yeah,
Tarkin. He's trying to take.
yeah, he's trying to be a Moff, right? Um, you know, I just thought of something saying that. What if Moff? No, if Moff Gideon could be here, could he be here?
Uh. Hmm. Yeah.
Mando after,
Oh.
so he
Ooh. I
possibly
don't
could.
know. Age wise, he should be able to. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
100%.
Give him a shave, an Andor shave.
That would
Yeah,
be
Dion
that'd be a
Carlo there.
curveball. I don't think any. I mean, I certainly didn't think of that, but and that's the greatness of a scene like this. You can really throw in so many people and still
Yeah,
make it make sense.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. I hope Galen Urso.
that would be, and see, that's the great thing too. They have these relationships. They have, I mean, hmm,
What if
mm.
Galen's the one? What if Galen's the someone?
I mean, that would
I
be
don't know. I
interesting.
don't remember the context of actually how she said it though.
I I remember, and I'm forgetting that as well, and I just saw it, but she was. I think he was talking. They were talking about how she can't move funds as much,
Okay, so it's a money
and she's
thing.
like, I can't move it as much, and
Okay.
they're watching me and all that stuff, and it was, I believe, it was right there when she was, I may have a friend that, um, and even like when to go back to that scene a little bit, I loved how they still keep that conversation going while they're
Yeah.
talking about the gift, and while um, it's a bold choice, but
Yeah. One of my favorite scenes so far in most of Star Wars, just because of the implications of what they're doing and the intensity, of being found out. This is one of the
yeah.
standout scenes of having Stellan Skarsgård there and Genevieve O'Reilly. So hats off to what's also a cool thing is she was the voice actress in Rebels, and she was in I think they shot scenes with her in the prequels, but they cut that out.
Yeah, in episode 3 they had like scenes with her shot, and they you can watch them, I'm pretty sure, but
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
You
you
can.
can
There's
watch them,
plenty of
but
scenes
yeah,
on
but they cut them out. I'm like, that's so cool that she got to, what, all these years later, 15,
20,
16,
20 yeah,
20.
20 years later, she's actually still in Star Wars, and her character means so much more to Star Wars
Yeah.
at this point, like building the rebellion. It's so cool. Like big ups to her and her agent for getting
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. I'm
the
sure. I
role.
mean,
'Cause who would have known this character would have came back, you know?
I mean, seriously, because at that time, it's like, okay, we shot the prequels, and now we already did, and now George is done, and then they came
Yeah.
back, but it's in the future. That's a
And
wrap.
she's just past that. She's like, oh man.
So
But
that's
now she's in one of the biggest Disney Plus shows.
of course, and that'd be
Really
cool.
cool.
I'm sure she'll go to the celebrations now and all that
Oh
stuff.
yeah,
So,
definitely. Definitely.
great, great. Mon
Oh, that
Mothma's
outfit too, the white outfit she
good.
walked in with that was on
Definitely going
point,
to
man.
be. I'm sure this show is going to have a lot of
Oh, right.
great potential cosplays to do in the future, also.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but
Um,
with that, what's funny though? We barely talked about casting this whole time because there's so much, and
so much other
there's so
stuff.
many new characters, and all these new characters, like, they all fit in this world. They all seem like they're a piece to this story, that this moving cog of sorts. And there's we don't, and that's a great thing because there's all these characters that you are interested in. You know that nobody is safe outside of Cassian, Mon Mothma. Like, yes, we
Yeah,
know, and
people who we naturally
I've
know
heard
or
that
like.
argument of, like, I honestly, thankfully, I haven't heard that argument much these days of, like, why would I be interested if I already know where Cassian's gonna end up?
Sure.
Um,
I've heard that actually from a few people.
but that's always the case. Like, same thing with Obi-Wan. Why would you care?
Right, right, right,
We don't know the journey. We don't know the journey.
right. But
Um,
that's what makes these shows good because I think, opposite of what Obi-Wan did, they are introducing a lot more characters
yeah,
that were like, I care about them, I'm interested in their story, will they survive? Because I think we have like 7 or 8 already
yeah,
who are unknown, maybe even more than that.
and we
Unlike
haven't even gotten
Obi-Wan,
to the
because
crew.
we introduced like a few, but then, by the end of it, most of them are dead. So I find this a little bit more interesting. The scene because he goes, okay, well, what's your name going to be? Don't go by Andor. He goes, I'm going to go by Clem, which
Yeah,
is the his
like adopted
possible adopted
father.
father. Yeah, another father figure.
Yeah, hey, whoa, now take it easy.
Well, but okay, so we have this scene where Luthen is talking to our new character Vel. I don't know if you
Yeah.
recognize the actress. Do you remember? Did you recognize her?
So what is she in? I know.
She is also a Game of Thrones actress. I had to look her up because I was like, I know you from something.
Who does she
She is
play?
she plays the rival to Arya Stark when she's training for the Faceless Men.
Oh, seriously? Dude,
Yeah,
I just rewatched that show up
yeah,
to
yeah.
the last season, and
Okay.
dang, I didn't even recognize her.
Yeah, I
That's
think
great.
she's probably a bit older at
Yeah.
this point now, but yeah, I was like, it's like her face looks so familiar, and then I googled it and I was like, oh snap, it's what's her name? She
Yeah.
was really everybody hated her, right? Because we're rooting for Arya, but
But
um,
she played that role well. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Just like
But
Joffrey, everybody hates him, but
everybody does. What a great actor to be so hated. It
yeah.
sucks. He had to retire, by the way.
Did he
But
really?
yeah, he's like, I'm done.
Oh, dang.
It's so
That's
hard to be. You know
I
what I mean?
know. If I mean they wrote a killer character, but yeah, what it's
Awful, awful character, but great.
hard to detach yourself from that. And then I'm sure you got, yeah, I didn't even think about that. It's
Yeah,
so much hate. Same thing with
yeah,
Star Wars. So many Star Wars actors have gotten off of social media because of
yeah,
Star Wars, and I'm so happy that Daisy Ridley actually came back because I thought
yeah,
she's great on social media. It just feels like
yeah.
I don't know, just like a normal person,
Normal
and
person. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
which
But oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead,
Sorry.
you're good, you're good.
Oh, I was gonna go back to Vel. So the conversation between her and Luthen, and he's like, I set you up for this role. Like, look at me. And I'm like, oh, is this her dad? Did that come across to you?
I didn't
Like,
think about that, but it does feel like a father-daughter dynamic to a degree. It
yeah,
is it is crazy though if it is her dad. I mean, on one hand you can say, he's bringing Cassian to help maybe late in the game because
mhm,
he actually wants it to go through, but he also doesn't seem like he's I mean, if they die to a degree. Like
right.
this is a tough mission, man.
Yeah, I think because that whole conversation. Because the thing is, like, you don't just yell at a person to look at you
Yeah.
if you're just like employer employee, right?
Yep.
So he's like, to me, it's like I'm expecting more of you because you're mine, right? And then even though he's like, if you lose him, you lose him, kind of thing. I don't think he was very. I don't. I think with the group,
Yeah.
I don't think he's very. What is the word? He's not confident in what they could do. So throwing in
True.
Cassian because he is actually confident in Cassian.
He is.
You don't
Even an
do all
injured Cassian.
that. Even and he's kind of green, right? But he's already proven that he can do stuff, especially with his record that Luthen has shared
Yep.
with how much he's dug into him. So I think he wants it to succeed. I don't know how grabbing the payroll information really affects what they're trying to do,
Me
but
either. But
I'm wondering
yeah,
if there's more to the mission than that.
because like you're right though. I do think that he does believe in them. He does believe that mission's going to be a success and all. Um, but yeah, you're right. Because when Cassian or at the time Clem does join her, one, why does he need a fake name? Two,
Always
um,
you gotta give fake names in these heist movies.
that
You got to.
you do, and that's
Well,
part
you
of
know
it.
why? You know why? Because if you get captured
Oh yeah, that's
by the
true.
Empire, they're gonna be like, "Who's in the group?" And then you have all these fake names, and then it doesn't lead to anything. So it's protecting. It's actually protecting them
But
in the long
also
run.
beyond that, like she's like, we never talk about him again. Well, she
Mhm.
doesn't want him to mention Luthen at all. They don't
Right.
know about Luthen seemingly.
Right.
How did this group, in the group itself, they're not all making it. Someone's
Oh man,
someone or
yeah.
two.
I think we're gonna lose a couple of them.
We're not getting full Rogue One tier, but we're getting Rogue halved.
Rogue 1.5. What? 0.5.
Yeah, when Cassian's around, people are dying.
What I actually like about the group, even though they're paranoid, I like it because it shows that they have some intelligence and sort of survivability on them.
Yeah,
Because if they didn't care and they were very just like Suicide Squad and they're like whatever, i- their deaths won't mean anything. But because they're trying to still preserve their lives, I'm like, oh, I actually like that they're all questioning it because it shows
it
some
does.
some smarts and wits about them, even especially the small core about doing it when they're going to do it and what they're trying to do. I think it's going to be pretty awesome. and it like kind of and I know kind of they've fall into tropes. Like you got the new young guy, you got your medic, you got your big guy. You know, it's like
Yep.
it's interesting. One of the questions I had is how do you get an Imperial to turn and know that your turn? You know what I'm saying? Like that's always interesting to me
Oh,
because
you
he's like
mean
I've
like
lived
yeah.
here for like 7 years.
It is interesting how that happens. Like how it's always and that happens all the time. We've seen it with like lots of people in the Imperial like
It's true.
academy and things like that. And there's lots and some of my favorite even Wedge Antilles I think was
Oh
in
right,
the
TIE pilot. Yeah.
yeah, but I don't know. How do you know that?
Yeah. How do
Unless they were an
you? That's
implant,
nothing.
from already being,
True.
on that side, which I suppose is possible. I don't think
Yeah.
it's that hard to get into the, Imperial
No, probably not.
like Navy or anything. Um they seem to, go by numbers and like as long as you're, stay in line, you should be all right.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
as Cassian said, they never expect us.
No, they
So it
don't.
could be a case like that, but and I do like this world. Again, they just are killing it with the world building, killing it with this new planet we're on. Where like what about us? Like, well, there's still what does she say? Like mystics and gyps and
Yeah.
things like
Yeah. I
that
remember
are
that. Yeah.
um and I did like that. Now I am curious because this mission is likely going to go down in the next episode. I'd expect, but
I
maybe
hope so.
yeah, I would hope so too.
It
Um,
might not though,
it might not, and that's the thing. It might take one more. But
because we might be there are 3 episode
do you
arcs
think
here
that
where
this episode might feel like Rogue One? Like, do you think it's going to be that dire to where there's like they're almost making sacrifice plays, knowing that they're going for the end goal here, and the mission is bigger than any individual.
I don't
Um,
think so. I don't think so because it's not dealing with Death Star plans again. This is the payroll. So like I
it
said,
is the payroll,
I don't know unless there's something else someone else is supposed to get.
which I wouldn't be surprised. I would
I
not be
wouldn't be
surprised if
surprised.
there is, because it just feels like that's the thing. I think of like I mean, the first thing I was thinking of is just because I rewatched it recently was Captain America, the Winter Soldier. It's like
Yeah,
they're going to save the hostages, but Nat is going to get the shield info that they had stolen, and
right.
I feel like there's gotta be
I feel
something
like
more.
that's the play. I feel you mentioning that. I feel like this is the play. I think what's going to happen is the our main Rogue Two group is going to go in, get the payroll. Vel's going to and get something else,
Yep.
and then maybe actually take out a couple of their own due
Oof.
to the survivability of the mission. Right.
That's actually
So
ooh yeah.
it's going to be juicy. It's
I
going to be so
hope
juicy.
so, man. I hope
It has
that
to be more than
yeah.
payroll.
We
Because to
can't
me, when
just
he said it, I was like, unless you're just trying to get like information, but it doesn't to me there I feel like there's gonna be a little bit more. If not, we'll see how it goes, but,
of course, of
um
course. As far as now we have so many threads though of potential um hiccups here. We have uh I always forget, we have Vel, or who was the
Vel
Vel,
was
yeah.
the
We have Vel, we have, I mean, we still have the guys from the security force. um oh my gosh, yeah, Cyril,
Pre-Mortar?
we have Cyril Karn. What's gonna happen to Cyril Karn? We
I have
don't
a
know.
theory on what Cyril Karn's up to.
What do we got?
So Cyril Karn has his bags, I'm like, "Where's this guy going?" He goes to mom's house,
Yep.
and who always goes into mom's basement
Oh,
with emotions and ambitions? I think we got like a kind of like a Unabomber terrorist guy on our hands.
oh my god, dude, that's a touchy subject too. Like if they go that way, I'm down for them to do that, and I would.
'Cause he's very, like, justice
Yeah,
first, right?
yeah.
Above all else, and I think he's gonna have this chip on his shoulder about the rebellion, and so I think he's gonna try to infiltrate the rebellion as, like, a vigilante Imperial sympathizer.
Oh man,
How cool would that
that would
be?
be
I don't
really
think we've
cool. That
seen
would
that,
be
right?
unexpected. That'd be, ooh, that'd be good stuff, man.
Right?
That'd be good
Because he
stuff.
has that, like,
Yeah,
clean guy look. You shown him kind of like, he lied a little bit to Cassian too at the
he
barrel of the
did.
gun because he said there's 12 of us, I mean 14, like, he like,
It was
"Hmm."
real quick. It's like, oh, 14, like he's
Yeah.
afraid. Yeah,
So I have a feeling he's gonna be like, "Okay, well, what's going on?" And he's like, "Well, it seems like there's something bigger. Let's dig into how I can get in." And I think he's gonna try to infiltrate and then pass on information to
yeah.
possibly Deidre,
And get that's true. And then climb that try and climb
and
that.
then we still stick with our evil non non retribution type
I
people.
like that. I
But
like
I
that.
that to happen. That's what I was gathering from kind of what they're presenting here with Cyril. Because I was like, what other? He's not going to go home to mom and then go, I want to join the rebellion. I don't. I
Yeah,
was like, I don't see
that
that
would be
happening.
pretty lame. That'd be pretty like I'm gonna show these guys who took my job. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know about that either. I certainly hope not. But
But I think we're done with the Primor thing. I think that was just set up for Cyril, like where he came
same.
from.
Yeah, I
So
think they're sort of out of it. We still have Cyril Karn. He's gonna continue in whatever way he's gonna continue. Um,
yeah.
who knows if he's? I mean, who knows what he's gonna do? He could band together. Maybe that guy's still in his ear. You know, the old the
Oh, Musk.
yeah. He's just, come on, Zero. We just gotta do this and that. And he's like, that's a good idea. Yeah, I
Yeah.
am. But
Musk was great. I hope. I mean, we could see. I hope we see more of him, but I don't know if we will. But
yeah,
I mean, remembering from the trailers, I think we are going to go back to Ferrex because they show the trooper, I guess, an Imperial occupation. So
yep.
it might get worse there, and that's why Andor has to come back, maybe to rescue Bix. But
Could be
um,
Rescue Bix. Maybe who knows? I mean, maybe we haven't seen the last of that. Who knows where they took that Starpath unit? I don't know if that's gonna come into play.
I feel like
Uh,
the Empire got it back, right?
I think so.
Yeah,
Um,
because she was trying to get it back from him, but he was saying like, "No, I'm not going to give you authorization to
yeah,
take anything."
that's true. Yeah, I mean, and then the planning stage, typically you gotta have a good planning stage of any heist infiltration mission. That was great, I love,
Yeah,
you had your little model maker guy, and
yeah.
he's like, hold,
His name was Nemec, Karis Nemec.
yeah,
I love. He's like, "Oh, it's not to scale. Don't worry about it."
yep, I
I
love
love
that
that.
stuff. I
And
love
I'm
that
like, "Oh,
stuff.
man, we're gonna see this kid get
I
killed. I
know
have a feeling we're gonna
he's
see him
gonna
get
be the
killed."
one.
He was
If
he's actually in a show called The End of the Effing World on Netflix. It's a pretty good watch. Very
okay,
depressing, but enjoy his performance in that. 2 seasons,
I'll check it
both
out.
seasons. Yeah,
Is
yeah.
it ongoing or is it just like a two and done?
I think there's probably more
Probably
because
more.
I
Cool.
remember they don't really end it on the second season.
Gotcha. I'll check it
But
out.
it was, yeah, check it out. Give it a peep.
Um,
See if you like it.
yeah, I mean that we're getting towards the end of the episode here.
Sure.
Um, and really it does. I mean, there's so much that we're gonna see now. I mean, we're only on episode 4. We
Yeah.
still have so much to learn as far, we're gonna see Mon Moth. We're still gonna see oh my gosh, Saw
Saw.
Gerrera. He was referenced in
Oh,
this episode too.
yeah,
We're
yeah.
gonna see Saw. These people know Saw. The group, they definitely at least know of him. Um,
Oh, right. Yeah, he mentions him, and he's like, if you fall asleep, Saul's guys would have put your head on his
yep.
bike for fun. Yeah, yeah. I
Which,
can't wait.
staying in character, poor Gullet. Are we gonna see that guy?
Little octopus. I okay. So my prediction for the next episode, as much as I want to see the heist, I can see them possibly prolonging it, but
Me too.
I can also see it being the dinner episode. I have a feeling you still have to do the heist. I'm gonna say we're gonna see the heist because if it's a 40-minute episode, you got to fill it. So I think we're gonna get 20-minute tension dinner, 20 minutes heist. I hope they don't prolong it. The only thing that bothers me is it's a 3-day period.
Yeah.
Like they were like, hey, learn this Aldani language, which I think is gonna also bite them in the butt.
Also, yeah, for sure.
Because like what is it, galactic basic is not his first language. We saw him as a young kid.
Yep.
So question for you, how old in the flashbacks did you think Cassian was?
Dude, I'm so bad at
Like
guessing
kids? Okay.
ages, but I'm gonna say, oh man, I'm gonna, oh gosh,
I was
I don't
gonna say
know.
maybe like
I
10,
was gonna
right?
say 10 too.
Yeah.
I don't know. 10?
Yeah,
10.
because it's still missing that whole like I've been in the fight since I was 6, unless they're calling the like tragedy there the beginning of it, and maybe it's 4
Could
years
have been.
of him Lord of the Flies. Another interesting thing, and I don't think we talked about it last week, it was an Imperial mining accident, but it wasn't the Empire back then. So I'm wondering if it's just a cover up for something else. Because there's obviously more to it, but I don't know if we'll get more in the
Yeah,
show.
I don't know either. I was surprised this episode that we didn't have more flashback, but I mean I'm glad. I liked what we I ended up liking what we got, even though I did like the
Yeah,
flashbacks. I prefer the way they used their time, even though they had more time this episode. Yeah, I did like the way they used it. Um, I don't know. I would still bet that at some point we see more flashbacks. I don't know that it's flashing
yeah,
back to then. We still have to figure out what the hell's going on with his sister. Um, so
yeah.
there's a lot. There's a lot,
There's a
and we have a
lot
lot
of
to look
threads.
forward to.
I love it.
I guess yeah. For me, I agree. We got to see the dinner scene next episode, and then I assume we're also going to see the heist. I think that they went all the way up through planning, and I think we have to see a next episode. If we don't, it won't be the biggest surprise in the world, but I would still be surprised.
I would be
Um,
surprised, yeah, because I mean, I'm not sure how much more setup you can do with them just preparing,
yeah,
because obviously something is going to have to go wrong, right, to make this a little bit more
the
interesting.
they're gonna make it really Lord of the Rings style, and we're just gonna spend a whole episode walking across
Walking, more walking in the hills.
just
Very
big.
beautiful, by the way.
It was beautiful.
It's definitely, you could definitely tell the difference between that and the flat circle of the volume.
Yeah, yeah, and even like there's ways that you can maximize it, but still, it's not
Right.
gonna replace on location shooting.
Yeah.
It looks stellar, stellar, stellar. It makes me want to, and I don't have the funds for it right now, but it makes me just want to buy a better TV too. I'm just like, my TV is fine, but man, I know that they're
It
gonna.
probably looks way better on a nicer TV,
Yeah.
right?
And I mean, I go to work and I work at somewhere that has a lot of TVs, and I go there. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm not even kidding. After the episode, the next day I was at work, and I'm like, man, if I just had this one, you know. So they might be
Maybe
low
one falls
key.
off the truck or something.
Yeah, maybe. But no, JK, I'm a good
Just kidding, just kidding.
studious, not studious, but I'm a good law abiding citizen. I try to be. But I don't want to go too long here. I think that
Sure, man.
there was a lot that we covered, and surprise, dude, that was 50 minutes. That flew by for me. That
Yeah.
flew by, and just a testament to you, man. I appreciate you coming by
Hey,
here.
no, it's a two-way conversation, man.
And yeah, definitely, definitely. And I mean, we could talk all day long if we wanted to, but I do want to know, anybody who's watching this, um, who is your pick? Who is your pick? Who do you most want to see at that dinner table out of anybody? Anybody, who do you most want to see at that dinner table? And then I also want to know, if you will, three dinner guests, and I'll end this with you also. Any Star Wars characters, three dinner guests for you. You're putting on the dinner. You can have three guests.
Anybody or most likely?
Anybody for you. If you're having your own Star Wars and world dinner,
Oh,
yeah,
me? And
yeah,
then I get to fill the table?
yep, we get to form a table. We're having dinner
Oh,
with
wow.
three people in world. I'm putting you on the spot here, and I haven't thought about
You
this
are.
either, and I'm gonna answer it myself also. I will go first just because I'll give you a second to think. And
Yeah.
as I'm saying this, I don't know who it would be, but I feel like I would want. Oh man, see, you have to be careful. Well, as much as I would like Chewbacca to be there, I think I might like ask, "What'd you say?" and he might rip my arm out if he's having a bad day. Um, but I feel like Han and Chewie is almost Han, Chewie, and Leia. I might go Han, Chewie, and Leia just
On Chewie
because
Leia?
it'd be fun to hear them all, because they're definitely gonna bicker. And that's probably the wrong answer. If I can guarantee I'm not gonna die, I might
Yeah,
choose
yeah.
differently.
Let's say all the weapons
Weapons are checked at the door.
checked at the door.
Hmm. Hmm.
Oh man, so many characters come to mind who would be really interesting to sit with. I feel like, man, this is a good, because initially I thought Luke, but I don't know now.
You know what would be a good one, I think? And it's sort of a what if scenario. Can we get I want Luke and Han to sit at a table. Old
Hmm.
Luke and old Han, as they never got
Okay.
to. Sit I want to
Yeah.
be at that table and hear them hashing out these old stories, talking about
Yeah.
what could have been, what went
Yeah.
wrong. Uh I would
I
probably end really sad and crying at this table, but
I want to go funny and interesting. I would say Lando,
mm,
Hondo,
mm.
and for some reason, I kind of want Jabba the Hutt there. Just I'm like this, like there's like a
Lando, Hondo, and Java. It's great.
those are the ones that come to mind because I feel like Hondo's very charismatic and has a lot of good stories, and I think Lando would too.
That's
But
true.
there's something about Jabba and his history and their people that I would love to know about, but I don't know if I would want to. Now I'm questioning if I want him there or not.
You're like, oh, can I have another piece of that? And Jabba just puts his slimy like arm on you. Like, never mind.
Yeah, yeah, no,
I'm okay. That's actually a great dinner. I would definitely sit on that table.
right. I
A
know
lot
for
more
sure
fun.
Lando and Hondo, but I don't know if the stories would start to like be too much, like them just trying to up each
Like
other.
I was just gonna say, they'd be trying to up each other. They'd be start making stuff up.
Yeah.
And then like, is this canon? And like,
I was like, just for a good time, I think Hondo would be a good time, you know? Like
man,
he's
that's
one
a
guy
good
I would
one.
want to spend time
That's a
with.
real good one.
Um yeah, because you gotta think, space lore stories that I would love to hear. But
Definitely better than mine. Mine's just all sad. I'm like, sorry, I wasn't there for you. He's like, I'm sorry, I
sorry, I
wasn't
couldn't
there
help.
for
Sorry, I
you.
couldn't.
That's
But yeah,
great.
yeah. Just I feel like a more fun dinner
Yeah.
instead of a dire one, which we're gonna get. Because I mean, even in the trailer, we see her in like
Mon Mothma.
Mothma in the orange dress. I think that's the dinner we're gonna get, right?
Yeah.
Putting on the fake smile, walking around. I think Luthen will show up there to be the our other like rebel hand in the whole thing. Oh, can we real quick before
Yeah.
you end it?
Yeah.
Clea, I think is her name. His assistant. Like
Yes.
she's on it. She's like, hey, looks like a new driver.
She
Like,
is so on it. Yeah.
and I think she's gonna have a bigger role in this whole thing as we move forward.
It's
But we
gonna be
didn't talk about her.
sad. I know this show's gonna make me sad. Someone's
You
gonna
think
die
so?
who I don't want to die. It's gonna happen. I'm gonna get hurt.
Oh, another thing for everybody here, and I don't know if you know, they're gonna start filming season 2 at the end of this year, so it's gonna be a whole year till we get season 2. We're not gonna get it in
Oof.
2024. It's gonna be what year are we in? Oh no, 2024, not
2020.
2023.
Yep.
So
Mm.
hopefully we can fill out. I mean, we'll get Ahsoka by that time, so
We'll get
that's what I'm
Ahsoka, definitely.
get
Heck
Ahsoka.
yeah.
And,
I think
so
Ahsoka's somewhere on the shirt. She's right here.
there you
It's
go.
hard to see her. She's there. She's on the end.
Yeah, you got to rock out our
Dude,
Star
that's a
Wars
tight
shirt.
shirt. Where'd you get that one?
This one is courtesy of Shirt Punch. You can find them on Instagram. They sell shirts for about like $20. And what's great is I think they like commission or not commission, they get digital art and then put it on the clothing.
Ooh.
And then after like a month or two, once it's gone, it's gone. So then not everybody will have the same shirt.
Ah, that's a
They'll
cool.
do
That's
like
a cool
four
model.
shirts. Yeah, 4 shirts a day. They'll drop and then it's I mean $20 a shirt as you can't go
Yeah,
wrong.
that's.
And they're high quality. The only thing is like they fade a little the black. But most of my shirts are from there, unless it's a Funko one.
I bought
But
more expensive shirts that faded after one wash. You know what I mean? Like that's
yeah,
that's more than for 20
oh,
bucks. That's great.
yeah, I'll pimp out all the shirts that I bring onto the show.
Heck yeah,
So
dude. I love
yeah,
that stuff. Again though, obviously you can follow me at the Fan Awakens or at Uncle_Sheev on pretty much all the platforms. Where can they find you, my friend?
hey, ParadeReigner on Instagram's where I usually hang out the most. Parade PARADEREIGNER. Throw out a DM. Make sure you're hitting like on this video. Comment below who else you guys want to see. Make sure you're subscribed. We're going to be doing this for the next 8 weeks now. So, and then possibly more even after.
More
So,
after that. Yeah, a
stay
lot of Star Wars
tuned.
content coming up. So, as he said so graciously, drop a like if you enjoyed this content. And if you're looking for more, we got more coming. I'm going to go see Bros tonight. So, I might review that on the channel just because. But I know this is mostly Star Wars centric. But, I might throw out the occasional movie review on there.
Do it. Do it.
But again, thank you guys. Drop a subscription. I appreciate y'all. May the force be with you all. Let's see if I can hit the end screen this time, and I think I got it. I appreciate y'all. Peace. Thank you, Parade.